FM and 1490 WBCB, and seen live on YouTube at WBCB Sports and Snow the Goalie, a Flyers podcast. Tonight's show is brought to you by Capital Grill, Chickies and Pete's, and Payroll Service Solutions. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for Snow the Goalie. Now, here are your hosts, Anthony SanFilippo, Russ Joy, and former Flyer Chris Therien.
Welcome on in. Welcome into Snow the Goalie Radio. You are listening to us live from Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. We are live on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM. We're also streaming on YouTube. We are streaming on Facebook. We are streaming on the Twitter as well. Welcome into what many are calling the #1 rated Flyers radio show this side of the Mississippi. Welcome on in. Gents, how we doing?
Good to see you, boys.
Good to see you guys.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
it's been a really long time.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, two
And
whole
we're back
days.
at it again tomorrow with the Press Row Show and Saturday with the Press Row Show. So
yeah,
the people asked all off season, where are you guys? What are you doing? And here we are. It's so much Snow the Goalie. Some would argue too much. I would say it's just the right amount.
Just the right amount of Snow the Goalie.
I agree.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here. Thanks to Chickies and Pete's for having us out every week. We'll be bouncing around to different Chickies and Pete's around the area, so it'll be cool. And Russ,
that's me.
Now we've always popped up people's comments on the screen. And We're still going to be able to do that, right?
We can. I mean, we're going to actually test it here,
right,
for the fine folks that are over on YouTube,
right?
And we'll bring some of those comments on.
Sure.
But we have an element that you can talk about.
Yes, you can now call in to Snow the Goalie, and you can talk to us. Give us a call. Russ will give you the number.
Number is 215-949-3232. Let's repeat that again. 215-949-3232.
It would be better if we had like numbers of Flyers that you could.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right.
So you got give me a 49.
49. Wasn't that Farabee's number for a while?
49. Yeah, it might have been Farabee. Yeah, I think was it 49
before he
Frost
changed
was 48.
He went to 86.
86 was the one I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when he started, he started at 49.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We should do that for the next show, not for this
go.
one.
Yeah. So there you go.
Good. We've gummed things up here on the first show here on the radio. There's a lot to get to tonight.
There's a lot.
We have a myriad of topics to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Of course, the Flyers started out on the road. They picked up a hard-fought game against the Panthers on the road to start the season. Ended up with no points. That was okay.
Yeah.
Dan Vladar, nice in net. They go on the road against Carolina. It feels like they're about to walk away, skate away with an overtime win. Bobby Brink. And then, as we know, the officials back at the center at the league office said, nay. Goaltender interference. Flyers drop that game in overtime. And how do they bounce back? They take down the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers in the home opener. Bundy, I want to start with you.
You know what? I'm going to say this about last night's game, and in fairness to Florida, who was 3-0 to start, who've had a good start, and they're a terribly injured team. They lost defenseman Kulikov as well on top of Kachuk and Barkov. But I think when you look at the Flyers everybody was picking the Flyers last night. Yeah, everybody. Yeah. I mean, I had them winning convincingly. I picked it 4-1. It was 5-2. I thought the Flyers were going to have a great night, and they came out and they had an unbelievably great night. They gave up the 2-goal lead they had, but didn't waste any time getting it back and then skated off the ice. They were the better team in the game, and they rightly deserved the 2 points.
Yeah, I thought that their first period was about as good a first period as they could have had.
Yeah.
Like they stuck to the game plan. They did everything right. They really seemed to control puck possession. They made it difficult on the Panthers. Like they made it tough on the Panthers. Second period started well, and then I think it got away from them just a little bit. And then, of course, obviously the Panthers tie it. Mishkov gets benched because of a couple of bad plays, and we're going to talk about that a little bit here. And then the best part about it, though, Bundy, for me, is that they didn't wilt. Like, this Flyers team would have in the past, like, all right, blew a 2-goal lead against a really good team. You gave them all that momentum. Everything was going in the Panthers' direction. And the Flyers went, nope, we got this still.
Yeah.
And like that to me is an impressive thing.
Yeah.
Against that team.
Early in the season, too. And they played well down in Florida against, just didn't get any points. A good goaltending by Vladar, who's been another storyline this week as well. And certainly he's off to a great start.
Yeah. And, when you talk about Mishkov, he was, I thought that his game was a little bit better. We got a caller. Oh, it's who it is.
We have a call.
Yes.
We have a call
Yeah.
already.
Bundy, who it is.
Yes, we got a call. Yeah, we do.
All right, should we go out to the phones?
Yes, we should go out to the phones.
All right, we'll get back to the Mishkov of it all.
Yeah.
We've been told
Superfan Eric.
that Superfan Eric,
Yes.
who we know is the concerned fan,
Yeah.
is calling in right now.
Yeah.
Superfan Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There you go.
Superfan Eric, how is the troubled fan feeling on this wonderful
Right now,
Wednesday
I'm
night?
feeling okay. I'm feeling okay. One thing I'm still concerned about the goaltending. I know Vladar has been, pretty okay. I'm still concerned with the first time. I'm really concerned about the defense. Offense, I'm not really worried about that. The goaltending. But Anthony, I read you school on Patterson today about what players tied on the hospital neighbors and all that.
Yeah.
Could be Geneva. And said that it might not be him because he communicates with Nick Cobb and all that in the dressing room and on the ice.
Yeah.
Well, what about Nikita Grabankin? Don't they speak the same language?
Yeah, so I think, and that's a good point, Eric. And the thing of it is that Grabankin his English is better than Mishkov's, but it's still not. He hasn't mastered it by any stretch of the imagination, right? And so I think that basically, look, you're not keeping Zamula solely for that purpose. That's not the reason he's here. You can't, when you're trying to be a winning team, you can't keep a guy just to be a translator, right, Bundy?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you can't have that. But that is a benefit for the time being while Zamula is still here, because it's not just about on anything on the ice or communication with the coach. It's about how you live right outside. And these kids are young kids, they're 20 and 22 or 23 years old, however old Grabankin is, and they're getting used to living in a new place and what it's like to live on your own and make the right life choices. And so I think there is some value to that. I don't think it's going to be something that lasts for very long, but I do think that the Flyers look at that and say there is a little bit of value there.
Yeah, you can't just be a translator. If you're another player. No, I agree with what you said, Anthony. It's I don't want to overcomplicate the situation, right? Because it just seems the way that this is the way it's lined up for now. And I don't think it really matters in terms of you have Zamula here, but if he's the guy that's going to be in the press box, then that's the way it is right now.
That was the problem that they ran into last year, too, if you remember. Like, when Zamula went through some struggles, Tortorella kept saying that, he thought that he was maybe being a little bit unfair to Zamula because I guess he felt like he wasn't able to just kind of play carefree hockey. He was spending so much time trying to translate and try to play that mediator role while also trying to play an NHL game. It's an untenable situation.
Yeah, it really is. Eric, thanks for calling in, bud. We appreciate you. We appreciate the call.
I would have been there too, but I got to get up for work at 4:30.
Oh.
4:30 a.m.
Well,
comes quick.
Well, maybe when we get to one of the Chickies and Pete's closer to your house, you can come out and see us. But thanks for calling in.
On the boulevard.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
That'll be the one. That'll be the one.
Every Wednesday, rotating Chickies and Pete's locations.
Yep.
A big thank you to superfan Eric out there on the phone lines. All right, gents.
Well, do you want to get into that? I mean, that was the thing that everybody's talking about online today. I know we'll talk about Mishka. We'll get to
People
Mishka
are talking about the Flyers online. Pray tell.
I put the tweet out that they sent down Emil Andre, right, which they did today. And the initial thought was maybe it was just a paper transaction because they were thinking about waiving somebody. And I know that there was some discussion internally, should they waive Zamula, not waive Zamula, and they ultimately decided not to. And the rationale, as I was told by someone in the organization today, is this. Just because Zamula is still here does not mean that the team looks at Zamula as being ahead of Emil Andre.
Right.
Right now, they view Emil Andre as their seventh defenseman on the depth chart.
Okay.
And if that's the case, they would rather him play for the Phantoms than sit in the press box for the Flyers. And, Zamula, they can put in the press box. It doesn't matter. Like, he's probably at the end of his
opportunity,
right?
Right.
And so he's basically just there in case there's an injury at a morning skate or somebody gets sick when they're on the road and they need to plug somebody else into the lineup, right? That's what Zamula is here for. But if there's an injury and then someone's going to be out multiple games, Zamula's not going to be the guy that goes back in. They're going to call Emil Andre up, and he's going to be in the lineup, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how they view it. Now, you can argue maybe Emil Andre is a better option than a couple of the other guys that are going to be in the lineup. Look, Cam York is going to be back tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. So York is ahead. There's no question York's ahead. But you could sit there and say, is Andre a better option than Adam Yinning? Is Andre a better option than Noah Juleson?
Yes.
Probably, but the Flyers don't believe that right now. And I think that you got to give them, you maybe have to give them the benefit of the doubt on the assessment of their own player, right, Bundy?
You do, and if that's what the Flyers' view is of them right now, that's a fair view because they're the one that's putting the puzzle together right now. It feels, you never say never to a guy because he may find another gear. But it feels to me like Zamula's had his shot here for some reason, and now it's just a matter. It's a numbers game before they either find the extra defenseman that they need that they're able to keep here full time before they waive him, or if his agent wants him, if they can try to facilitate a trade, which will probably be pretty hard to do.
Well, it's also tricky too because if we're being fair, what did we talk about last year with this blue line? It was small, right? Brad Shaw came on this show, said if you're a Stanley Cup contender, you have to have a certain amount of size on the blue line. Ristolainen's still not in. Juleson, I don't think, is a particularly inspiring defenseman, but he's 6'2", he's got some size. It feels like they're very stuck on this idea of you have to have a certain amount of size. I think we talked about this last night, but it's like, or on Monday night. I understand it if the Flyers are a Cup contending team, which they are not right now. Part of this still has to be player evaluation, and you're looking at trying to get some of these guys meaningful playing time in games that don't necessarily matter as much. It's not a high leverage end of season game where you are trying to pick up the points and get into the playoffs. I feel like they should be giving Emil Andre a shot here. You know what Juleson is. Like there's not a high upside. You're not committed to him long term. Have Emil Andre play. There's nothing to preclude them from giving him consistent minutes as a number 6 defenseman.
So here's the other thing, and Peter Tom Willis makes a good point on the comments here on YouTube. Or he's on X, actually. Plus, they need another penalty-killing defenseman.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that Andre does not do. He does not kill penalties, whereas the guys like Juleson and Yinning actually get an opportunity to do.
Yeah.
And you could talk about that, Bunny. You've been that guy.
Yeah, I was always out in the penalty kill, penalty killer. But, you always obviously want to have some more size on defense when you're penalty killing. Yeah. To absorb what's in the corner, try to battle the puck out, and be a bigger space eater.
Right.
Where you're just taking away as much space as you can on the ice, and it's harder with smaller guys to do that, especially with smaller statured guys that don't play real big. That's the way kind of I see Andre. He's not afraid to hit or take a hit.
Right.
But it's just covering what the eye shows in front of you is a big body defenseman.
And maybe this, and no one said this to me, but this is something I'm just thinking. You can tell me if I'm on the right track here. Early in the season, there tends to be more penalties called.
Yeah.
Just because the league is letting you know what they're going to start calling this year, what they're cracking down on, things like that. The Flyers have taken 15 penalties in 3 games so far, so they've been shorthanded 5 times a game. Maybe early in the season, it's better off to have an extra bigger guy to kill those penalties, whereas maybe once you're 15 or 20 games into the season and they stop calling so many penalties, and now maybe you're only killing 2 to 3 penalties per game on average, it's a little bit easier to get away with having a guy like Andre back in the line.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the penalties do go down over time. They always love calling a lot of them beginning of the year.
Right.
I have a feeling somehow, some way, Andre will be playing.
Yeah.
He'll be on this team, and he won't be sent back down.
Yes, it's going to get to that point.
It's going to come to that point, yeah.
I'm being told that we have another call.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's just callers galore here on
Good.
Snow the Goalie Radio. People are excited about your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers. I believe it's Andrew is on the line. Andrew, thank you for calling. How can we help you here on Snow the Goalie Radio?
How you doing, gentlemen?
How you doing, Andrew?
How are you?
Second favorite Texan.
Oh, it's Fawcett.
Andrew Fawcett. Thanks for calling in, bud.
Great stuff, Andrew.
No problem. I can't take the place of Allison since she is like super spreadsheet, person. So, I'll do what I can and just bring Bucky hats.
That's all good
Love
stuff.
it. So what's up, Andrew? What are you thinking?
Hey, so let's switch to the offense a little bit. And let me just say, I've noticed in the first 3 games of the season how much improved the skating of both Tyson Forrester and Bobby Brink has been. And it's been amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. Especially Bobby Brink. I mean, he's been really jumping in the holes. He's been letting the shot go. Forster, to me, he's just picked up where he left off last year. That 25-goal scorer, I believe he was, and he's still getting that shot off. He jumped in the holes, but Brink is the one for me that if he can keep playing like this, he could be a real problem, for a lot of teams. So.
He looks completely different than he did last year. He just and also Coots.
Yeah,
it looks incredible.
that's actually a good place to pick up there.
Yeah,
Andrew.
I'll address that one, Andrew. Thanks for calling in.
call,
We
man.
appreciate it, bud.
Right.
Yeah, so Coots, it was interesting. He has the 4-point game against Florida, and we go in to talk to him afterwards, and he says, it feels good to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel any pain when you're putting on your socks. He says, I felt like a 60 or 70-year-old guy. And I looked at him and I said, Coots, it happens much sooner than that. But he said that he feels physically better than he felt before the 2 back surgeries.
Yeah, and again, when he came back, remember we said, the repercussions of the back surgery. You can come back and you had your surgery done, you come back and play, but it takes time. Yeah. It takes time to adjust your skating, to get your body feeling right. When your back is sore, your whole body's sore.
Yeah.
And even if you're going through the recovery of it still, it takes away from other parts, mentally and physically. So it's taken Coots some time, probably almost 2 years to start feeling the way that he'd want to feel again.
And let's not lose sight of the fact that while he's trying to come back during those 2 years, he's got the coach beating down on him.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a good relationship with John Tortorella.
And Tortorella ran him into the ground.
Well, he did. Ran him into the ground 2 seasons ago.
The first half of the season, coming off the back surgeries, he ran Couturier out there like healthy, Selke winner Sean Couturier. And then his play faded in the second half because he had nothing left to give.
Right.
And then in the midst of that, named him captain and then benched him and tried to galvanize the team.
Correct.
Everybody hates Torts to try to make a playoff run. We don't have to go down all of that. But how important, I guess, is it that Rick Tocchet doesn't fall into the same trap? We see a very productive Sean Couturier right now. How does he toe the line? Because he does look good, but you don't want to overdo it, overextend him, and then run the risk of having Couturier take 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's part of the game, right? Like, you go through the season, you can't think there's an automatic date that he's going to start slowing up a little bit. You're going to have to trust him. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to put him in situations sometimes that it's not as taxing, but he's playing up the middle again. Like, he's playing a full 200-foot game.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. And I think there's going to have to be a lot of conversation with Coots from the head coach as to how he's feeling as the season moves along. You don't want a guy hitting a wall. What can you do to mitigate that? Do you need to mitigate it? Is he really back? Because if he's playing great, maybe he plays great the whole second half too.
Yeah, I think that there's 2 things with that. I think first and foremost, I think Tocchet is going to spread the minutes a little bit more evenly amongst the players on this team. And I think that there's more talent on this team than there was 2 years ago when Coots was run into the ground by Tortorella. So I think that you're going to see him. He's not going to be pushed constantly over that 20-minute plateau. I think that he's somewhere between 17 and 20 every night, and that's probably a sweet spot where you want him. And secondly, even though he's playing with Mishkov and Konechny, and you would think that's your top line. Yeah. The way Noah Cates, Tyson Forster, and Bobby Brink are playing, they're going to get They're going to get most of the minutes, most of the shifts. Let's put it that way. So I think that you have a second line that you can really kind of put out there an extra shift if you need it, or an extra 2 shifts if you need it in a certain period. And I think that will help protect Couturier's minutes to keep him in the sweet spot where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just how I look at it. Which, by the way, Sean Couturier.
Before you get there.
Well, I was going to.
No, I know you're going to do. We have to do this too.
Well, let's do
we have
this
to do this. We have to do this a bunch of times. So
All
we
right,
should
go-
do that.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Just a reminder that we are live at Chickie's and Pizza in Malvern, Pennsylvania. It is a fantastic place to come down, have something to eat, have something to drink, watch games all over the place.
Yeah, there's a ton of TVs here.
But don't forget, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, Chickies and Pete's will be hosting Snow the Goalie. You can find us at a myriad of locations. We'll be all over the tri-state area.
We'll be in Warrington next week.
Warrington next week. The week after is Drexel Hill.
Yeah.
So, and then
My
we're
neck of the
going to
woods.
be going out and doing like a tour of New Jersey.
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen ain't got nothing on us. Anyway, start your meal off right with some of the delicious red, garlic, spicy white wine menu mussels before you indulge in one of the mouth-watering burgers like the Ultimate Tailgate. You didn't have that. You had the barbecue burger. The Ultimate Tailgate looked great. Or the Fightin's Burger. Come on out to one of the more than 17 locations and be sure to check them out at the next Flyers game in either the East Food Hall or Southeast entrance in front of Section 103. Thanks to Chickies and Pete's for having us.
Yeah.
That fighting burger just doesn't quite hit as well as the barbecue burger.
It doesn't hit as well as it did during the regular season.
That's great. That's great. Oh, that's fun.
All right, now back to Sean Couturier.
Well, no, I was gonna call him again. We have another sponsored segment. We have to name a player of the week each week, right?
We do.
Right, and so my thought was if we were going to say the player of the week, who is brought to you by Payroll Solutions, it's time for that, and it's if you want to call them today, you can call it 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. And we talked about this before the show, like who would be the player of the week? How can you not give it to the captain after a 4-point night against the Florida Panthers? 2 goals, 2 assists, really was at his best in that game.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy call. You could have probably thrown Vladar in there or Bobby Brink
Yeah.
as 2 possibilities as well, but I think Coots is the right call, especially getting 4 points in the home opener. It was a great night down there with Bernie Perrant being honored with the standing ovation and celebrated, and then the Flyers going out and taking down the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs with the captain being at his absolute best. Sean Couturier is the player of the week.
Do you agree with this?
I would have given it to Vladar.
Okay.
I totally see the merit. Big Coots guy here, right?
Yeah.
Big believer in Sean Couturier. I think a lot of the people who wrote him off last year had a lot of nasty things to say on social media. I think they're going to eat some crow this year. But Vladar, to me, is really the story thus far in the season. We talked about it all offseason. You brought in a guy who was essentially a backup in Calgary, played some meaningful games for the Flames down the stretch last year. But you brought him in. Sam Ersson didn't do a whole lot to instill confidence in the preseason. Alexei Kolosov was kind of all over the place. Carson Bjarnason, you knew was going to go play in the A. We didn't really know what to expect from Vladar. Still don't actually know if this is his job to lose now or if this is just Tocchet saying, hey, maybe a little shot across the bow, just a little bit of a wake-up call to Sam Ersson. Just because you've had this job before, it doesn't mean you get it to start the year. Vladar, to me, though, has been very impressive. We can totally accept that Florida had some injury issues on Monday, but it was still a heck of a performance, and you still got your first season win of the season with him in net.
So I believe Ersson's going to play tomorrow. He was first off at practice today.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow. Interesting thing on Vladar. A couple reporters, they were talking to Kim Dillabaugh.
Okay.
And he said the thing that he liked about Vladar was last year when he was in Calgary, the Flames, because they were trying to protect Dustin Wolf, who's a rookie, they didn't want to overexpose him in his first year, that when they played tougher opponents, they played Vladar.
Mm-hmm.
And Vladar played decently. I mean, so if you look at Vladar's numbers from last year, they may not jump off the page, but then when you know that he was playing primarily against the toughest competition, then maybe it makes you think a little bit more like, oh, well, maybe it's a little bit better than it looks, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so having that and not being overwhelmed by playing against really good teams, maybe it gives Vladar a little bit more confidence playing in these games. You know, he played Florida twice, did a great job against them.
Right.
3 goals in 2 games. So maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's an interesting thing about him that maybe a lot of Flyers fans didn't know much about.
We have 2 things to get to here real quick. Mike Boots, first of all, over on YouTube asks, can Vladar steal the number 1 spot?
I think he's had certainly a good first 2 games to establish that. I think Tocchet's going to go back and forth for a little bit until he feels one of these guys has really kind of jumped up and taken reins of the crease.
Yeah.
But I think he's being fair about it right now, thinking, okay, I got 2 guys that probably are like equals coming in. Who wants the job?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a mini tryout still going on.
I believe I got a word that there's a caller on the line.
I got to wrap this up.
Oh,
though.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Finish it.
So we picked Couturier 2-1.
Yeah.
You picked Vladar. Vladar was a good second option though.
Darth Vladar.
Darth Vladar. Give you good.
Might want to check out shop.snowthegoalie.com pretty soon.
So I just want to say that the Player of the Week was brought to you once again by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again, 1-866-PAY-EASY.
All right, I'm being told that we have a caller. I don't have the name of the caller, but I'm being told we have a caller. Connor. Welcome to Snow the Goalie Radio. Connor, are you there?
I don't know where it's Connor. This is Billy from South Philly. First time, long time.
Billy from South Philly.
I love it.
Wow.
I'm so excited to see you guys up on there.
Who's Connor?
It's awesome.
Go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead, Billy.
So I got to say, you guys are better than Termini's cannoli.
Wow.
To see is there. And I like that you guys are going old school like Grandmama's meatballs. But anyway, I got to say, Bundy, I got a question. I got a big question. How many games? I saw a lot of excitement coming out of these guys the other night. How many games is it that these dudes are not going to just like each other? We're going to see the system. You know what I mean? Like garlic and olive oil. You know what I'm saying? Because we're done with the marinara from Portorella. I want to see what Tackett is whipping up. Ow! Go Flyers!
Billy from Philly.
Is that a question or a comment, Billy?
He called you. He said, he asked you, Bundy. Billy from South Philly asked you.
There were so many references in there.
I can't believe he got Tortorella. I thought he would have called him a Tortellini.
That's right. That's right. Billy from South Philly. You would think you would call him Mr. Tortellini. Yeah, but that's good. That's good.
That's really good.
I didn't even hear what the question was. There were I was lost in the marinara. Said that we're better than Termini's cannoli.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the original founder.
Yeah,
of
he
Termini's.
really?
just
passed
died.
away.
No.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
Yeah. So anyway.
Way to bring the mood down, Ant.
Yeah,
We
sad.
appreciate Billy from South Philly. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks
Yeah.
for calling in, Billy. Do we want to get back to the Mishkov thing?
Do we have to?
Well, I think we should
Yeah,
talk
I think
about
we
it.
have to.
I
Okay.
think we have to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. So nobody knew about this. But, there was a question that was asked. First, it comes out on Spit and Chicklets. They come out and say Monday morning in their episode that they put out that they heard that Mishkov showed up for training camp out of shape. So one of the writers asks Tackett about it on Monday. And Tack goes, yeah, well, he had this ankle injury that, we didn't know about this summer. And it kind of put him behind the 8 ball a little bit. So he's a couple weeks behind. He's playing catch-up right now. So Mishkov didn't talk yesterday. And so now Mishkov was available finally today because they had the translator there. And Slava was there. And I asked him. I said, what happened? What was this ankle injury? And he said, it was just a little thing. Happened in the summer. But it's not the reason I'm not playing. I haven't scored anything yet this year. I'm just wondering, where did this come from? How does the team not know about it until late? And why wouldn't they tell you up front? Wouldn't you think that if you knew that your star young player was going to or was behind in his training, that you would put it out there? To say, hey, listen, he had this little thing. He's fine now. He's going to be okay. He's going to play in the games. But he might not be completely up to snuff because of it. Waiting till now to say it is going to bring out rampant speculation that they're trying to cover for him not being in the best condition. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant, right? What's the optics of it?
It's the perception of it.
Right, it's the
That's
optics
what you see, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's where I start to question what the heck's going on here.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I want to throw out something, and this is why I get frustrated with social media, although I'm online way too much. I don't remember a single soul during the preseason saying, Matvei Mishkov looks out of shape. I do remember there being a picture on a golf course and a very well-known satire account on Twitter expanded the image to make it look like Mishkov was like 2 or 3 times his normal width.
Yeah.
Right? There were some people who saw the one picture and they said, oh, does he look like he bulked up a little bit? But during the preseason, I don't remember people saying, oh, he looks like he's very out of shape. It looks like Matt Mishkov.
Yeah, I never
don't
thought
remember
that either, yeah.
And then as the games were going down, I don't remember hearing that. Even after the opener, it was kind of like, hey, he looks a little bit slow. It felt like it was after the Carolina game because he didn't see the ice in the overtime.
Well, we'll get to that.
That, to me, is like where the whole narrative kind of shifted to, all right, what's going on? 2 games in, he should be in overtime. This is the thing that we would have, torched torts about. And maybe it's the fans who are trying to give Tocchet a little benefit of the doubt as the new coach. And they're trying to figure out why is he not in an overtime. That's where it felt like it really took off.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to address this real quick, though, because Allison asked, wasn't he in a car accident this summer? He was, but I was told.
That's right.
It was in May.
In Dubai,
right? It was in May. It wasn't in the summer. It was in the spring. But I did ask about that, and I was told that this has nothing to do with it. The injury was related to a workout.
Okay. Because he also played.
Okay.
Remember, he played in those exhibition games too. He played in the NHL, like the Russians NHL, like best of NHL versus KHL.
Yeah.
He was, and that wasn't like a
That was
a high intensity thing.
And
Remember,
that was after the thing in May.
Yeah.
So like if it occurred.
Oh, good point.
If he had the injury in the car accident, he wouldn't have been playing in that event, right?
Yeah,
So
that makes
it certainly did not happen there. But you made a very salient point, Russ, is that it was first noticed during the fact that he didn't play the entirety of the overtime in Carolina. And you would think Matvei Mishkov would be on the ice for the Flyers during a 3-on-3 overtime, right?
Right.
And he didn't. Tocchet was asked about it, and that's when he first told us about this kind of like he's behind on conditioning.
Yeah.
And then in the game on Monday against Florida, he sits the last 8 minutes of the game in a game that was close. And Florida had tied it. And if you go back and look, and Tocchet has been like harping on this for 2 days now. On the shorthanded goal by Bennett, Mishkov flies the zone.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the fans who don't know? So they get an odd man rush, and they're up. And Florida's got the puck in possession. They're trying to score the goal. Mishkov just takes off to go to center ice.
Go get a breakaway.
To try and get a breakaway if the Flyers defensemen somehow get the puck.
Yeah, that's called a hope for.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So like Tocchet was livid about that. Like he says, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
He says, I understand he's an offensive player and he wants to do things, and we want to hone that skill, but you got to do it within the framework of a team game, right? And so that's what Rick was saying about it. And then secondly, in the third period, for 1 minute into the third period, he takes a hooking penalty, his third penalty of the year, right? Leads the team in minors, and it was a neutral zone hooking, which Bundy, right?
Yeah, they'll make a coach crazy.
Right? That's the worst place to take it, right? If you take a hooking penalty in your own end because you're trying to defend, it's one thing.
Right.
You do it in the neutral zone, that drives a coach nuts.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you combine those two things. That's why Matvei Mishkov didn't play the last 8 minutes of the game on Monday. It had nothing to do with the fact that he's not conditioned properly. It's because he made some mistakes.
Yeah. And again, when the skating gets going too, like, they said, why didn't he play the other night against Carolina in overtime? He wasn't skating.
Yeah.
If you're the coach, you're not looking to put, like, maybe who might be your best player down the road in that moment. You put the players that are playing their best in that moment on the ice, and he did that.
Which is why it was interesting that Gurbenkin ended up getting some minutes late in the game. Gurbenkin continues to be, I don't want to call him like the godsend of the team because like he's ultimately like a fourth line guy right now. Or at least
sure.
It's where they kind of slot him in. But like how many times in the past have we had these arguments, even like fans having arguments among themselves, that fourth line guys typically are the muckers, the grinders, the grizzled vets. Here you have a guy who's young. He was a piece that you weren't actually sure was going to mean anything in the Scott Laughton trade. And he did such a good job in the preseason, right? And such a good job early in this season that he seems to have gotten Rick Tocchet's trust right away. And Tocchet even said the other day something to the effect of, like, you guys should be asking why Nikita Gurbenkin isn't getting more minutes.
Correct. Like he wants to give, well, first of all, he wants to give the entire fourth line more minutes. He feels that, they're taking too many penalties. And so if those guys aren't on the kill, they're only getting 7 minutes a night. And he feels like that they should probably be in about that 9-10 minute range, right? That's the good flow of the four-line rotation. But he pointed out Gurbenkin and Luchenko specifically. But Gurbenkin, he likes him so much. We're at practice yesterday, and practice is, the main part of practice is over. Talk's on the ice with Grabenkin, and for about 15 minutes he's working on one-timers with him. So got him in the left circle, right? And then he's got him, just kind of taking the one-timer. He's got him turning his skates and hitting it at the same time, so he's getting that timing down. Then he's got him kind of skating from behind the net along the right circle and then making a quick turn and have the puck right there and banging it in. So he's working on little things with him one-on-one. And that's unique. That's not something that you've seen before in this city, right?
He was doing that with Mishkov in the preseason, so he went from one Russian to another.
No, but I'm saying, like, I think that's something to really like about Taka as a coach. Like, he takes that opportunity. I think that he thinks Grabenkin can be a significant contributor. What I mean by significant, I don't mean points-wise, but a significant contributor to the success of the Flyers as far as, the important minutes that he's going to play.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of him, to be honest with you. He didn't – preseason's one thing, but then you get him into a couple games right now, and I'd like to see a little bit more before I really pass judgment on him. But he's looked good so far, and he looks like a guy who can kind of play up and down your lineup a little bit too. Yeah,
just want to remind everyone that we are at Chickies and Pete's here in Malvern, PA today. We'll be at a different Chickies and Pete's every Wednesday. We'll be in Warrington next week. And if you need the perfect place to watch your next Flyers game, well, then try Chickies and Pete's. Grab a basket of crab fries. We had the crab fries.
Go ahead, they're right there.
Grab the crab fries. There you go.
I'll just eat them.
You hold them. Grab the basket of crab fries. One of the specialty pieces, like the Lisa Blonde lobster pie, shrimp tomato, or the hot honey pepperoni. Stop by the flagship South Philly location when you're at the game, before you go to the game or after a game. You might catch us there, or I sometimes go there with some of the writers. We sit and grab a drink and talk after a game, right? Yeah. So sometimes we're there. You might catch us there.
Compare notes.
But if you need to find out more, go to chickiesandpete's.com to check out their upcoming events.
Now, we went from fries that are crabby out to the phone lines where we have a Jay who is Grebby.
Oh, Jay Grebby
out on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Jay, can you hear us? Jay, how are you?
Thanks. Yeah.
You know what? I thought last year he took real big strides forward. Around Christmas time, he was averaging about a point a game over about 7 or 8 games. When they were out on the West Coast, he was really good. And that's when I kind of noticed that line starting to come together. Yeah. He seems to be the catalyst on that line. He provides that really good defense. He's found a way to move the puck and make plays himself towards the front of the net. No, I agree with you, Jay. I think he's done some good things, and I think there's another gear there for sure for that whole line. Like, that line right now is the top line on this team. Even though Coots had 4 points the other night, I believe they're probably the line that's trusted by Tocchet more than anybody right now.
100%, I agree. And, I was talking to Tocchet before the season about Noah Cates, and actually talked to Noah Cates, too. And Cates felt like he thinks that there's more in his game offensively. And Rick said the same thing. He said, I think we can get more out of him offensively. It's more because of the talent around him, too, with Forster and Brink being offensive-minded players, even though that they're two-way guys. But they score a lot of goals. They feel Noah Cates can do a lot more, getting to the net, getting to the middle of the ice. Tocchet wants to really have this team attack the middle of the ice more than they have in the past. Yeah. And he feels like Noah Cates is one of those guys who can really do it. And if he does, and then all of a sudden he becomes like a 20-goal scorer.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you're looking at this lineup and going, geez, that's a second or third line that you really have to contend with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying this. The Bobby Brink picking up, like, gotten where he's been this year. Add that to Noah Cates, and then you've got a 25-goal score already in Forster, who's done it a couple times. That line could be something. It really could, and I really do believe the catalyst that it is Noah Cates because of his two-way presence on the ice.
I think we lost Jay.
I think we did too. All right, thanks to Jay for calling in. There's another guy that we have to get to. To him playing meaningful minutes right now the entirety of the season. But as we've talked about a lot on this show, on the Press Row show, him going back to his junior team, going back to Guelph, isn't really a great option because they stink. It's not like he's going back to a high-powered junior team that he's going to develop, that you can send him back and say, hey, kid, vision is really solid, speed is great, got to work. a situation that's going to really help foster and help grow that skill set. They're in this weird place where he gets 9 games with them, right? He gets, we lost the sound entirely.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fans are 1. He goes back to Guelph, a stinky junior team, not going to develop there. He stays up here for the entirety of the season, but he's not in the lineup every night. Or he's here for the 9 games. They spread those out to keep him up here as long as they possibly can, and then they ultimately send him down and try to get him out to junior. Where do you guys think the best place for him to go is? Is it better to play every night in Guelph, or is it better for them to extend this as far as they can and maybe even keep him up in and out of the lineup just so that he's working with this group, with these coaches?
I think if they're in a real pickle because that new rule doesn't come into effect until next year where you can keep your first-round pick in the American League as a 19-year-old. So it doesn't help the Flyers at all right now, but I know they don't want to send him back to Guelph. So, and again, I don't know how much they can get their hands in the cookie jar of a trade in the Ontario Hockey League to get him out of Guelph to a better program. But I think as the case sits right now, if he's in Guelph, I think they're just going to develop him here in Philadelphia. That means meaning having great practices is going to be a big, big thing for him every day. That may be the case. He will be playing for Canada at the World Juniors if he's here. Even if he's here in Philadelphia, the Flyers will loan him to Team Canada for the World Juniors. That'll give him an opportunity to step up against guys his own age and really showcase himself for what he is. But it looks to me like the way it's set up right now, I just don't see him going back to junior because of the circumstances of his junior team.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually going to have a story about this tomorrow at On Pattison. I talked to Jet today. Talked to talked to a couple other people in the organization. Talked to Garnet Hathaway actually at length about Luchenko, and it's exactly what Bundy said. Now, the thing of it is that they understand that the situation isn't ideal, having him play 7-8 minutes a night on the fourth line, because that's not the guy that they want him to be, right?
Right.
And I think that ultimately it's okay to kind of let that be the case for a few weeks, but Danny Briere as general manager would be mismanaging the team if he let that be the case all year. So I think that they're going to kind of take this in segments as far as like a handful of games, and then make determinations, right? They wanted him to play Monday against Florida because they wanted to see how he looked and have him experience a game against the best team in hockey. Now, I know that they're missing a couple guys, but the Panthers are the 2-time defending champs. They're the best team in hockey, okay? So he wanted them to experience that. That's a big deal for him to kind of experience what that game is like. He's earned his time to play 2 in a row. He's going to be in the lineup again tomorrow. So he's going to be in 3 straight. Flyers still have a little wiggle room. They can play him up to 9 games before they have to send him back to Guelph, right? And like you said, they are 100% going to loan him to Team Canada for World Junior.
Right.
That way he's playing big minutes in a big tournament against the best players in the world that are his age group.
Yeah.
Okay? So that is certainly going to happen. The interesting thing is going to be between that 9th game and Team Canada, do we send him back to Guelph, even though it's not the greatest situation there? There's not a lot of talent on that team. It's not a very good team. Can they help force a trade to another team? Like there's, go to London.
Right. Well, that would be
Everybody
ideal.
goes to London, right?
Everybody
Go to
ends up
London.
in London.
Yeah, go play in London. But do you force that to happen, or do you spread the 9 games out until he goes to World Junior and then make a decision after that, so that he's in and out of the lineup? I don't know if that's a good thing either, but they certainly want to protect him and help him develop, but at the same time they don't want to send him back to junior. So it's a tough spot for them to be in.
I feel like he's 2 years away, and they're in a weird spot. I could very easily envision a scenario where next year he's playing for the Phantoms.
If he was playing for the Phantoms this year, I think he'd be a year away.
Correct. But since he won't be,
it might be a year and a half.
Got to be careful with that too.
Yeah.
Keeping a kid for a year in the NHL and then sending him to the minors.
Yeah.
You got to really be careful with that.
Yeah.
I guess I look at it like this. So you obviously hope that Zegras is going to be able to be a 1 or 2C. Obviously, they played him on the wing the other night.
I got something on that, too.
We can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
You would ideally like to see Zegras be one of your centers. You want to see the Cates line is so good that he has to be one of your centers. Couturier has to be one of your centers. So you have one left. Jack Nesbitt, who most people think is still a bit away, still needs to work on that first stride. We talked to him about that at Dev Camp. That first stride is really what's going to be the thing that gets him an actual look. He's an intriguing prospect. I'm not saying that this is a thing where you're playing out 3 years down the line, but obviously, given that he's also a first-round pick, you probably want to see a scenario where Nesbitt ends up here at some point in the next few years.
You don't need to worry about that now, though.
But my thing is,
I
don't see the path to Lachenko. I don't even for next year. If Zegras is here, if Cates is here, and Couturier is here, then Jet Lachenko, your former first-round pick, has to be the 4C, which is not a place you would think he'd be. Are you going to bump? If Cates and Forrester and Brink continue to play really well together, are you going to make them the fourth line so the Jet Lachenko can come up here and play 3C? That's my problem. He's young and he doesn't have the ability to develop where he needs to, which is the A. It just feels like he's going to be in purgatory here for a year and a half.
Could be, but you never know. You never know what happens with guys.
He could develop. He's a great skater, right? So you could play him up and down your lineup.
Yeah, and maybe one of those guys eventually moves to a wing, right? Zegras. Yeah. Zegras is already in what Tocchet called today a hybrid role.
Yeah.
And that's because he can't win faceoffs, right? So they have Dvorak taking those draws, right? So that's point one. And I'm not necessarily certain that he's the best guy as far as being responsible for what the center's role requires. I think they're going to give him a chance to let him play some and see how it is. This is kind of one of those prove it to us years for Trevor Zegras. But ultimately, he may be a guy that ends up back on the wing. It really may end up being back on the wing. And you never know. And we talked about Couturier. There's no guarantee that he continues, just because he feels good 3 games into the season, that by game 50, he's not,
So Couturier becomes the 4C, and Jet Lachenko comes up and becomes the 2C next year. You heard it here first on
No,
Anthony SanFilippo.
That's not what I heard, but I'm saying that you can move a guy to a wing.
Yeah.
Is what the possibility is.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you that Garnet Hathaway had a lot of great things to say about Lachenko.
About Lachenko?
Yeah. He says, it's funny because he's a quiet kid, but he's very cerebral, and he's like a sponge. He asks a ton of questions, and he says, it's funny, he's 19 years old. He said, when I was 19 years old, I was a freshman at Brown, and I was afraid to ask seniors questions.
Right.
He said, he's 19 years old. He's coming up to me. I'm 14 years older than him to talk to me and pick my brain.
Yeah.
He's that kind of kid who really wants to learn and figure it out, right? And obviously we know about his speed and his skill and what they think that he can become. So there's a lot to like about Lachenko. Tocchet said today, he needs to shoot the puck more.
Yeah.
He said, what the problem is with him is he's always got the puck in a great spot, and he's trying to be selfless.
Who's this?
Lachenko.
Lachenko, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to pass the puck. He says, I need him to shoot. He needs to shoot the puck more. So that's something that they want him to do. Once he starts shooting the puck more, maybe that unlocks a couple things for him as well.
A playmaker with elite vision and passing ability who's afraid to shoot the puck, or afraid to shoot in general. Is Jet Lachenko the Philadelphia Flyers' new version of Ben Simmons? You can call us right now and let us know what you think. How's that for an awful
that's good.
An awful cue. But if you want to, you can call
215-949-3232.
Again, that's 215-949-3232. Do we have to go back over here, Anthony?
We have to do it one more time, right?
All right, go ahead.
Well, do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it when we close the show?
You can do it now.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget the on-site host every week for Snow the Goalie is Chickies and Pete's. No matter the sports season, Chickies and Pete's has you covered. Start the meal off right with some of the delicious red garlic or spicy white wine menu mussels. Have you ever had those?
I have.
They're really good.
I like mussels.
I'm a big mussels fan.
Yeah, I love mussels.
Yeah. Right?
You look
By the way,
here.
you know what else?
Bundy, he's looking svelte. Look at these mussels.
You know what else?
Yeah.
Bundy, how are the shrimp?
Great.
You hosed them.
Yeah, I just killed those peel and eats. Loved
Peel
them.
and eat shrimp,
Yeah.
right? You killed them.
How many did you take down?
12.
And I swear, when the people, I hand up, I didn't see a single one go up to his mouth.
It was
I
so
went down
fast.
to take a bite of my crab cake sandwich, and I looked up, and there was just a plate of tails.
Yes. Yeah. So
Did you take them all at once? Did you do like two?
No.
Like double
one
fist six
one
and
at
go,
a time.
And it's not like the prawns either. They
No.
were big.
They were big.
They were big.
They were big. They were nice
big
sized
shrimp.
Yeah, they were big shrimp.
So, or you could always have one of their mouth-watering burgers. Like they recommend the Ultimate Tailgate or the Fightin's Burger. I had the barbecue burger, which was awesome. I recommend that one. So come out today to one of more than 17 locations. Be sure to check them out at the next Flyers game down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena in either the East Food Hall or the Southeast entrance in front of Section 103. Chickies and Pete's, our wonderful sponsor for Snow the Goalie Radio.
We have another caller.
Yes.
I'm being told that Jack is on the line.
Jack!
And we might have actually fixed the audio volume here for the stream. We'll find out here in a second. Jack, how are you?
How are you guys? Nice to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, Jack. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manny.
Manny. It's a good spot.
Yeah?
So my question is, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm very concerned about like the recent developments this week with next year's free agency class. And the reason is I was under the impression like this free agency class was a huge part of the plan. Particularly one of like Kirill, Eichel, or Kyle O'Connor. And I just find it hard to believe like Artemi Panarin is the plan. I mean, the 35-year-old Artemi Panarin, Natchez or an Adrian Kempe are interesting, but it doesn't really solve the problem of that, like, one guy on offense. It's nerve-wracking.
Well, you gotta hope that you're developing that one guy, right? That one superstar player. You're hoping that you have that in either Mishkov or Porter Martone. Like, you're hoping those guys develop into that player. And that if you go and get the free agents that you're talking about, the Kempes or the Natchez, that they are your Robin to the Batman, all right? And that's kind of what you're hoping for. Of course, everybody's upset that it wasn't, that Connor McDavid signed and Kirill Kaprizov signed, and everybody's signing, and it's like, oh, geez, the Flyers aren't going to get anybody. But the other thing that you also got to take into consideration is the Flyers can also make trades, right? I mean, they can trade. They can trade for that player as well.
Chuck Fletcher did once say that trades are hard.
Trades are hard, but it doesn't mean that they can't do it. So I do think I think it's premature to be panicking about the fact that all these guys signed to say, oh, well, this kills the Flyers for next year. Let's see where things are after the deadline and who teams are starting to say maybe they'd be willing to move off of because they need to rebuild their own team. And they might find a star on a team and be like, oh, I didn't realize that guy was going to be available via trade, and maybe that's the guy that the Flyers can go get.
Well, that's where the speculation was going on today, and thank you to Jack for the call. The name Rasmus Dahlin was thrown out there by Anthony DeMarco.
Yeah.
And then I think he said something to the effect of like it would cost you a Lutsenko, a Tippett, another player, I forget which one, and then a 2027 first-round pick. It's like, would you make that move? Well, yeah, of course you would. I mean, I would.
Well, three NHL players and a first-round pick?
Well, it depends on what you think Lutsenko is.
Well, you think he's an NHL player.
I don't think he's a high-end, that's me. I don't think he's a high-end.
He's 19 years old, Russ.
That's okay.
He's a first-round pick that's 19 years old.
Yeah.
All right. Next point. Go.
If you can go out and get a guy that can be a top-pair defenseman, that's something this team desperately needs. They don't have a path to it right now. If one is on the market, I would much rather take the safe route there. So take a guy who is only 25 years old, could be a top-pair defenseman for this team for a long time. I would gladly take that because that's one of the things this team drastically lacks.
I don't disagree with you. I don't. I'm just wondering if you need to give up that much, or if you should give up that much for that guy. Like, I go back now. This is a different era. It's a different age. It's a much more, even more established player than Rasmus Dahlin. But the Flyers didn't have to trade that for Chris Pronger. They didn't have to trade that much for Chris Pronger.
Got him older, though. He was older.
I understand that, but they didn't have to. My point was it was Joffrey Lupul.
Hey, Lucas Spiza would like a word.
And Lucas Spiza
he'd like a word.
is what got you Chris Pronger. Right? So what I'm saying to you is I understand that this is a guy who's a little bit younger, right? But he's also not Chris Pronger.
Sure.
Okay? Chris Pronger should have won the Norris Trophy in 2009, 2010 as best defenseman for the Flyers. He was that good. So you're talking about that type of player. I don't know if you need to give up 3 NHLers and a first-round pick. It just seems like a lot.
It could be, yeah.
For Rasmus Dahlin.
What about Bo Byram? That's a name that the Flyers have been interested
They
in
have
for a
been
while now.
interested in
Obviously,
it,
it's
yeah.
not going to cost you nearly as much. Like, is it ever too early to look for help on the blue line?
No, I mean, they like Byram, but again, it depends on what the ask is there, right?
That's
I
what
mean,
Buffalo wants, if they even want to move him.
right. I mean, I think that I think that they've kicked the tires there just to see, and I think the asking price from Buffalo has been insane in the past.
First of all, I will say this. If Buffalo traded Rasmus Dahlin, they would probably be dumber than they already look right now. He's all they've got.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
They got Cousins in the last year in a trade, but
Tage Thompson's a pretty good goal scorer.
Tage
right?
Thompson, yeah. I mean, but in terms of like a marquee star player, he's their guy.
He's their guy, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, and I'm with you that if you may need to do something creative like that to get that player, I don't know certainly if you do that much.
Sure.
To get that.
I think that's why it's an interesting thing, though, that Jack brings up, though, about the free agent class. And I've seen some people trying to rebut the notion that, well, the Flyers didn't ever actually explicitly say the 2026 free agency is part of the plan. I would contend that when Jonesy and Danny have been on this show, they have said a few times, a lot of money coming off the books in 2026. Now, trades are certainly a way to do it. I've always kind of gotten the feeling they, along with probably 20-plus other teams, wanted to have the opportunity to present to a Kaprizov, to present to a Connor McDavid. It has to be a little bit deflating, I would think, for them that they don't get that opportunity.
Well,
I'm just saying, like that's a pretty easy cheat code, right? If you can make the pitch and the guy ultimately decides to play here, it's money.
yeah, but the thing of it is, Russ, is that, yeah, you'd like the opportunity, but if those players reach free agency, you aren't the only team that's going to have that opportunity.
Sure.
And it's not a guarantee, nothing even close to a guarantee, right? So, yeah, of course you can make the pitch. You can put the the video together. You can put together the little binder that you want to send over to his agent and say, here's the 65,000 reasons you should come play for us.
Yeah.
But everybody else is doing the same thing, right? So it's like, you have to really, really outsell 15 other teams, let's say, for example, for something like that. The trade route is the best way to acquire that talent, in all honesty, because then it's a one-on-one deal, and then you have the asset at that point. You don't have to compete. Yes, you're competing in a trade, like some people might try and outbid you in the deal.
Yeah.
But you can get as crazy as you want, and if in fact you want to trade 4 players for a guy, like you could do that if you so chose to, right? So I think that's the difference between that. So anyway.
Okay.
And McDavid's available in 2 years.
That's a good point. And you know what? The Flyers might actually be in even better shape, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take that.
That's right.
Jack on the phone. Don't give up on the Fly guys with the free agency. Huh? Is there anything else that you guys wanted to get to tonight? Any other players that are worthy of a discussion at this point?
No, I think we hit on all the things. I mean, look, I got to give the Flyers credit. I mean, those were 3 brutal games to start your season, and to be 1-1-1
Doesn't get any easier.
No, Winnipeg.
No.
I mean, Winnipeg and then
Winnipeg,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, you got 2 really good teams coming
2
up.
good teams, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, we don't know what the outcome's going to be there, but to be 1-1-1 at this point is probably better than anybody would have thought.
Yeah.
To have 3 points in the first 3 games two against Florida, 1 against Carolina.
Yeah, 2 of them on the road.
2 on the road,
Yeah.
right? Like I think that's about a good an effort by them to this point.
If Sam Harrison's in net tomorrow, which you believe he will be, because
He will be, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
how much pressure is on him, especially because of how well Vladar has played, or is there no pressure at all? It's just another start.
Well, I think he has to know the other guy played well, and if you want to match it. It would be great if you got a couple guys playing off each other, like playing well early in the year. One guy plays well and the other guy plays well until kind of talk locks down a starting goalie. But I wouldn't say like it's the end of the world pressure. It's not like he's going to lose his job or anything after that. But it would be nice if we went out and had a good game and kept the puck out of the net. Problem with Sam is, like, even against Carolina, I thought he made some good saves, but at the end of the night, he still gave up 4 goals.
Yeah.
He's got to get out of that. He's got to give up weight, stop giving away that 1 extra goal, as we said last year, kind of lock it down at 2, 2 a night where you give your team a chance.
Yeah, and one other thing, that we talked about this on Press Row show, but just to bring it up in case anybody's on the Snow the Goalie feed and that wasn't watching Press Row, is that one of the things that the Flyers have changed this year that's different than when they were under Tortorella is they don't feel the need to be blocking every shot.
Right.
And so they're playing more of a, block the shot if it's in a high danger spot and you want to protect your goalie. But most shots, if they're coming from distance or whatever on the outside, box out instead, take away the rebound and let the goalie see the shot.
Yeah.
And the goalies prefer that, and they believe it's helping.
Well, I mean, you get into the game a little bit more, right? Like
they believe it's helping both Vladar and Urson so far.
Yeah, because I mean, what the hell do I know? But if you're seeing more shots, if you have a better line of sight to them, and you're actively engaged throughout the game, you're not going through these long spurts of block, 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 block. One shot comes through, you can actually get into a groove.
Yeah.
It's also kind of nice. If you look at Vladar's stats right now, he's got like a .933 save percentage right now. It's a beautiful thing. A goalie in a Flyers uniform with a save percentage over 900. We'll take that any day.
That's right. You'll take it after 2 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 games. Well, we'll be back down. We'll be back down at the arena for a press row show tomorrow night for the Flyers and the Winnipeg Jets, and then Saturday for Flyers and Minnesota Wild. I think your point. There's so many home games in October.
A lot of home
November.
games coming up. Yeah.
A lot. We have a lot of hockey, and it's going to be fun. We're going to miss each other in February.
Oh yeah, because there's going to be the break.
The Olympic break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
We'll do this on Wednesdays.
Yeah, once a week.
Yeah.
But I'll be missing you guys.
Will you?
Yeah.
That's so sweet. How about
Anth will
him?
be at spring training then.
It's a possibility.
He might be doing pre-spring training.
It might be a possibility. Yeah. We'll figure that out. Yeah,
Bryce, I still believe in you. You can still be an MVP. You're MVP3 in my heart.
Look at this. See,
What?
Peter Tom Willis just mentioned here at the end.
Oh, you know what? This is a good point we have to get to. Peter Tom Willis says, did we get into Ant's wall lean at the Mishkov presser? If you haven't seen it yet, it was all over the place. Now, I can't bring it up on the stream right now. Logistically, I don't have a way to do it.
Ashlyn Sullivan from NBC Sports, she's the one who tweeted it out first. It was her picture. And boy, was that embarrassing.
It's Ant posted up behind Mishkov, like he's, about to whisper sweet nothings in his ear, Bundy. Let me ask you, in your playing days, Ant, anybody else in the media, when you're in that scrum, is there anything can you feel when somebody's behind you?
Yes.
And is there a worse feeling than having somebody breathing down your neck?
You always tell someone with bad breath if it's a reporter, just like breathing down your neck, and you're like, it's Pinocchio.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Anyway, well, we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight.
Thanks, everyone.
For the first Snow the Goalie Radio here as part of WBCB. Thanks to Chickies and Pete's. We'll be back at Chickies and Pete's next week in Warrington, PA. Warrington, PA, 6 p.m. So if you want to come out and hang out with us for the hour, come talk Flyers hockey with us, and we'll have all the greatest stuff for you. There's 3 more games between now and then, right?
I believe so.
3 more games, so we have a lot more to talk about next week. I'm popping over to all the practices now again this year, so it's good to a lot of one-on-one time with the players and the coach, and I'll give you the best inside information that I can at that point. So thanks to everyone here at Chickies Pizza Malvern. We'll be back here down the line, November sometime.
Something like that, yeah.
December, I think it's December.
And in the meantime, we'll talk to all of you on the Press Row Show Thursday and Saturday at 6:30 p.m. down in the Xfinity Mobile Arena, up in the balcony next to the organ. You come up, come say hi. For Ant, you find him on Twitter at Ant SanFilippo, Bundy at CTarian6. I'm Russ at Joy on Broad. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe over on YouTube, and you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. We'll talk to each and every one of you very, very soon here on Snow the Goalie.